Welcome back to the YouTube channel, and today we are going to walk you through how to schedule your time as a full-time online coach. So this is for people who have decided to go all in on coaching. They've cut all ties with any previous employment, or they've stopped training people one-to-one, or maybe you've even relocated. You might even be at university. Whatever it is that you're doing, if you've got a full diary of time, this is going to be the video for you to maximize it and get the absolute maximum potential out of what you're doing. Okay, so 3 categories that you're going to want to allocate your time into, right? The first one is going to be content. The second one is going to be client delivery. And the third one is going to be outward marketing, lead gen, and sales, okay? Now, I'll walk through these things one by one and show you where you should be putting your time. But in my opinion, your time should be equally split between these 3 tasks. So if it's a 45, which is 9 hours a day for 5 days a week, which I think is, where you should be, to be honest, if you want to scale the fastest, this is where you should allocate your time. And I think it's 15 hours in each. Now, there may be times where we have to shift this around, and I'm going to talk through that in a second. First of all, content. You can probably get away with posting once a day. However, if you have 15 hours a week to focus on your content, I think you should be looking at posting anywhere between 2 to 3 times a day on social media platforms, especially if you're looking for fast growth. You should be taking the time to plan this content out, and you should be making sure that it's got lots of personality into it to maximize your chances of growth. All the best people that we have that come in, not the best people, but the people that grow the fastest on social media, all post more than twice a day in order to grow their accounts the fastest and get more eyes onto their product. So because you've now got 15 hours allocated to content planning, you can spend the time to do 2 to 3 posts a day. The second thing you want to be doing within that time is building out resources for your clients. Resources for your clients like shopping lists, like recipes, like exercise tutorial videos, okay? So 7.5 hours, I think, should go on outward content, 7.5 hours going on content within your program. The best thing about the content within the program is you can actually offer singular pieces of content out on your social media in return for a conversation. So we use something called a 2-step post, which is saying like, I've got this thing, it's going to help you do X, it's completely free. If you want it, just DM us the word and then we'll send it over to you. And that's a really good way of repurposing the content for your clients and turning it into lead generation, okay? So those are the 2 things I would focus on within your content. Your client delivery is going to be like any other client delivery, okay? So there will be times when you've got to do check-ins, you'll have to do client onboarding, and you'll have to respond to clients. If you have a full-time schedule, I would respond to every single client every single day. That means that I would outreach every single client and make sure that they were happy, make sure they knew what they were doing, and make sure they didn't have any issues with the program or any things have come up during their week that could derail their progress. I would do that because I have the time to do it within this schedule. You will actually find that if you're just starting, you probably don't need a full 15 hours of client fulfillment. You probably would scale that up as you take on more clients. If you find that you're not using that 15 hours, take whatever's left out of that 15 and allocate it to the next phase, okay? Which is lead generation and sales. Lead generation and sales, if you're running this full-time schedule and you are not at capacity with coaching, is where you are going to put every extra bit of time that you have, because it's the bit that makes you money. It's the bit that drives the business forward. So for me personally, I would make sure that I was doing at least 2 hours a day, okay? If not 3. And I would be allocating 2 hours of lead generation every single day, and I would be allocating an hour to sales. Now, if I got to that hour of sales and there was no sales booked in, I would continue to do more lead generation in order to make sure that didn't happen for the rest of the week. This is something that actually a lot of coaches do not do. From my experience, they do not allocate time for this. And that's one of the reasons why their business doesn't grow, because they spend too much time making content and fulfillment. Once that's done, they're like, I'm finished. It's because this is a task that's quite uncomfortable for them. They don't like doing it. It would be nice to build a business without doing it, but if you're watching this video, you're probably not going to give yourself a year to build a business. I wouldn't like to spend a year making no money. So I think that we should just all agree that this is a good thing for you to do. So with these tasks, there are tasks that you're able to batch and there's tasks that you're going to have to do on a daily basis. The lead generation and sales process, you are going to have to do on a daily basis. So that 3 hours needs to be allocated every day, Monday to Friday. You cannot take a day off lead generation. Maybe over the weekend you can get away with it because people are quite understanding about that you don't reply on weekends. However, Monday to Friday, if you're taking days off lead generation, you are letting conversations fall, you are missing out on sales calls, and you are slowing the growth of your business down quite massively. We notice when we work with our clients is the clients that take days off randomly just because they feel like it or they can't be bothered are the ones that struggle to grow. As soon as we kind of kick them up the arse and we fix that problem, things start moving forward again. And it's, we've seen that time and time again. So that's why I'm saying it. I'm not saying it just to push you into doing something every day. I'm saying because it matters. Now, your client fulfillment, half of that you can do daily as well, which should be your outreach to clients. You should be talking to your clients every single day at this point. The other half of the tasks you can batch and you can do them any way you want. So this is where you're going to get the flexibility of being an online coach. You don't have to do everything in regimented Monday to Friday, 9 o'clock till 8 o'clock or whatever that looks like, okay? You can be manipulative with your schedule because you can block this up. So your content you can do in blocks of 4 hours, okay? So you could do just under 4 blocks of 4 hours. You could do the same with your client check-ins. You could block it all onto 1 and 2 days, which means that you would then have flexibility in your schedule to do things that you wanted to do during the day or in the evenings or things like that. Just with the lead gen and sales one, I would make sure that you're talking to people and you're potentially booking sales calls in times where people are likely to want to book them and want to reply to you. So unfortunately, that's going to be peak time for you. That's going to be between 5 and 7 p.m. or 6 and 8 p.m., depending on kind of who your client is. That's going to be the time where they're most responsive to you. And it's also going to be the time where they have the most available free time to do a sales call. So you'd have to work that into your schedule too. But if you do that and you stay consistent with it, that will mean that you've got a great balance between all the tasks that allow your business to grow. You're doing enough of everything that you need to. And then it's just about fine tuning the actual delivery of those things and making sure we're using the strategies right. Okay. So if you found that useful, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, make sure that you hit the bell icon because you're notified because we're doing a full series on how to actually do all these things that I've just mapped out for you. How to message people, how to do sales calls, how to, build out your content plan, how to do all of this to give you the best chance to grow to 5K a month as an online coach.